How's it going, Umar? How's it going, everybody? Just getting everything set up for you guys. And then we will be commencing shortly. Let me know if the music is too loud for you guys. Alrighty then. How's everyone doing this wonderful Monday morning? Um, we're basically just going to start the week off with a little bit of analysis and possibly get into some trades. As always, check the description for all of our links, whether it be our free Telegram to get updates, whether it be our mentorship link to come learn with us, earn with us, aka earning while you're learning. Our mentorship, our Forex funded family, the FF fam, they get all of our updates in real time, all of our trade entries. They get a live anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week. Whereas on YouTube, we try to go live once or twice a week. Get in contact with us on Instagram. All those good links will be in the description. And we hope you enjoy your stay here at Forex Funded. We would love to see some of you newcomers on board the FF family. Yeah, so let's get into it. Yeah, so basically with gold, we have taken an entry over here right at this 79 level, based off of a few things, our Z strategy, Mr. Oasis strategy. I have my weekly, and this is a daily level right here. I don't have it marked, but that is a daily level where we look for sells. And we're looking to take it down to a daily level. I believe it's a fib too, right? We got 38% in that purple area. So, that would be very wonderful to see if we can have that trade. But even then, your normal profit taking levels, 38, 61. So we'll be looking over here with these moving averages, this 1 hour moving average at 38, set an alert for that. And then 61%, right? So we'll see what we can get there. Our family members, no description here. Are you sure? Oh, fuck. Let me go look. My bad. Apologies. There should be a description now. If anything, close your YouTube or refresh your YouTube. It should be updated now. Apologies about that, believer. So yeah, we're gonna, as I was saying, all of our FF members, they have our full outlook on where we believe gold is going to go. I believe we've even sent it in our free Telegram room, so be sure to check that out if you're interested in gold analysis. But I am expecting a nice 38% retrace again. Obviously, if we do end up breaking this wedge, I believe we'll be heading towards 2080 level. But yeah, that's that. Let's check in over here on US30. In fact, let's just get rid of everything, start over. Not necessarily start over, but start from scratch. So me personally, I would have a nice weekly level right here. And then on top of that, we would have another weekly level right here. Some people are really big fans of trend lines, so we'll add that in to keep them happy. Same with here. And vice versa, we would have a weekly level here where you had a big push, a big bullish push. And then that low from the retracement. Now, starting at the bottom, you would have one there for your bottom that had not been retested, weekly level there. And then I like to have one where you push out of that consolidation. You can see on a lower time frame, this whole area would be consolidation. You pushed up here. So that would be a weekly level. And you could argue you would put one here, but I only like to do that if you have other confirmations, such as fib or order block, whatever you're looking for. You do have a nice 6-1 there, and you can see in prior price action, you have came to roughly that same level. Here you have a big rejection. Here you have a body close there. Here you gapped below. You had more wicks. So I will add one there, just really just to have. And always, you don't use those levels as strictly buys or sells. You could use them as selling take profits. If you're looking to buy or sell from one of those, you're obviously going to want current price action to be matching up with whatever it is you're looking for. Buys, sells, taking profit. Going down to the daily, we have a daily level right here, which is something I'm looking at to get targeted for a possible sell. That's why I have an alert right there. Going up further, starting at the top, you have a daily level here. And you have one here. Right, everything else is pretty much covered. You have a weekly here, so you don't necessarily need to put one below. You really just start to crowd up your chart. But for the sake of things, we will put one there. And do the same, starting at the bottom. As you can see, look, for instance, on this big bullish candle, if you would have had your daily here, you would have seen that you came back to it. You would have reason to buy on lower time frames. And then you even came back to it a second time. So that's basically why I like to mark them up. It's a little strategy of mine. You just use that in conjunction with whatever else it is you may like, whether it be fib, whether it be purely price action, whether you like order blocks, whatever it may be. It's the more confirmations, the better. You never want to get into a buy or a sell based off just that. I would probably skip this candle, but this Friday candle, I would mark one up here. I feel like that music got louder all of a sudden. Let me go turn that down for you guys. No idea why. Now, if we take a fib from our low to where we're currently at, just to get a nice little estimate, it does give you reason to want to look at that body open right there, especially in line with this past price action. But for now, we're just going to leave. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to add it in there just so you guys get the basic understanding of where I put them, why I put them, right? If you have a wick to that body, you don't need one, right? For instance, right here, because that's basically the thought behind it, right? That if you want to continue a bullish move, or if you have a bullish move, you will come back to that area at some point, and from there you can look to get active, right? So for instance, we will put this purple and we'll go down to 15 and see what kind of price action you had from there. All right, so you can see you had a nice support built at that, where you either broke straight through it or you had wicks to it, right? And then if you break above it, you're going to test it, wicks, big body. So you'd be looking to sell here if you wanted. Same with the break above, look to sell. So that's why I say you want things like price action to help you get in on an entry from a level like that. Going down to 4-hour with our current price action, let's see what price is doing. What's up, all y'all FF family members? As I said, we're looking for I am looking for a possible sell at this level. I'm marking up this 4-hour because it is what I like to call, and what it is a no wick candle, right? You have an open, which is the same as your high. Therefore, it's a no wick. I basically treat those like order blocks. If you know anything about order blocks, you like to buy or sell off of them, or a break of them, flip it to a breaker block, etc. I'm not too big on order blocks, but I know the concept. I know how people trade them. And that's basically how I treat that. So this entire daily and 4-hour level is where I would be looking for a sell, right? Not instantly selling upon arrival, but I would be looking for a sell with the stop somewhere right above that prior high. Obviously, give it some room to breathe. So I'll give it 15 pips. So we'll make it it would be a 170 pip stop from that area. But once you get that price action, it most likely be less. And then I would look to target a prior daily level. So the risk to reward would be there. And upon entry, you would be monitoring for a follow through, and you'd be able to tighten up your stop and then eventually put it to break even. But that's basically what I'd be looking for. Now, if we get it break higher and we have no respect for that level, right? I would be looking for price to attack that same high, right? If you're not getting the price action that you want, I'd be looking for price to attack that high and then just continue higher. Right? I don't have a magic ball, so I can't tell you what's going to happen, but I can tell you the areas that I'm looking at, what I'll do with those areas, and if I end up getting active on those areas, we can get a potential trade. Right? Going down to 1 hour, we can see that we're starting to see some weakness. Something could form, such as a head right here with a current left shoulder, where you could have that sell that we're looking for come down to those lows and have a nice little retest and then a further follow through. Then you would see a nice head and shoulders. But I'm not in the game of too much prediction as to what price will look like. I predict more what price will do based off of the way I trade. So yeah, that's my basic outlook for US30, Oops. Going over here to GN. We can see what we already have, and we can see what we need to add. So we had for last week, we had what I like to see as is a nice rejection candle. And as you briefly saw, I was already looking to sell. I got in that trade for a small risk, and I ended up getting just stopped out, right? Not a continuation higher, but basically a stop loss hunt. I believe I lost right around 0.3% of my account. As I said, I didn't risk big. I'm not really one of those traders who likes to risk 1-2% per trade. I like to stick more in that range of 0.5% to 1%, depending on a few factors such as my confidence in the trade and the stop loss size. So we don't really have much we have to add on the weekly. We can see here we have a no wick where your open and your low is the same. So I'm looking for that to be targeted. As you can see, I also don't have every single, weekly level marked, right? For instance, there would be one here. And you can also see what I was mentioning about if you had a bullish week close and you mark that up, there's a pretty high chance that you will come back to it and be able to buy off of it. You can see you had it happen here. And from that level, you got, a nice 200 pip trade. You do the same over here where you came back to it and you pushed up to where we're at. And then you're at this current lowest weekly level, which would be right there. So, just for the sake of it, mark it up. Right. And just to be clear, I really mark these up more for the family members. I don't necessarily need all of these lines, but some of them do. Have I missed your gold analysis? I joined about 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I'll go back over it here once I get done with these Forex pairs. If anything, I'll jump over after this GN. But yeah, you did. Basically expecting bearish movement for now. But we shall see. And then just going off of where you mark those up, there'd be another one here, right? But as I say, you don't need to mark all of them. As you get used to that, if that's a strategy that you like or something you like to identify, you don't have to mark up every single one of them, right? For instance, the likelihood of you falling from here past this current highest weekly level all the way down to here in one move is very slim. So you could have both of these deleted and just have the highest one. But for the sake of the FFM, I marked them all up for them so they can get more used to that. Going to a daily point of view, here's last week where we had our sell level, potential sell level marked up. You came to it, you fell, right? If I would have updated yesterday, right, we would have had one here where we came to it. And let's see on a 15 point of view what actually happened. So yeah, even this morning here at right before New York Open, you can see big consolidation at it. And I believe we even have stuff such as this, right? So for instance, I'm gonna make it purple so you can understand, right? You can see it on a 15 point of view, you had none to the left. And even if you did, right, if you had here, you targeted it, then fell and then came higher. And if you were on an hour or 4, you had reason for why you would go there, right? So we're just talking about this consolidation right here. If you would have, I'll make it red and you have to just follow along, right? That's what it would be. If you had a 15 there and you fell down, right, you would have had a couple ways to target, right? We'll just start with most recent, right? So here's where you had a bullish move and then a pullback and you haven't fixed that wick, right? That would be blue, potential buy area or sell TP, right? So you would have pushed up, you would have established this, and this is where if you would have just had these two, right? No trade entry yet, you would have had a reason to buy at this 97.3 level, right? Now, do we have some kind of a fib or something there to also assist in our buying? You can argue you do have that 38 to 50 level, right? But the price action was there. How you came to it, had instant reaction. Then you could have moved this over again. And I believe, yeah, that's even a no wick candle that we're currently on. You came back to it, got rid of the no wick and came to the top, right? Now you could have moved this over, right? You would have. And then you come to your sell level, where you fell for a nice maybe 15, 30 pips, 20 pips, right? So that's nice little scalps, right? Would have been able to move this over again. I believe we have a no wick right here. Yeah, no wick. So you would have had that marked up. And you would have seen, let's check it out on Fib too, right? So just in case you would have had reason to get out early, right? Nice 6-1, would have had reason to get out, or at least take partials, set your stop loss at break even and wait for the next, right? I'm just basically showing you how you would use this in real time with past price action on a low time frame, right? That way you don't have to go through daily and wait daily moves. As you came to that level, you left your no wick, you came up to the upside, right? You would have had reason to get out of your trade, at least set stop at break even and take partials. And you had that new area to target, right? You ended up targeting that area, falling down to that no wick, where I would have just left this here for now because you didn't have, this isn't a good enough bullish push for me to add it. I would have just left it here. You can see you used it 1, 2, and 3 times to go higher. After you collected that no wick, you came up to fix, not really fix, but come to that level we had identified, where then you would have been able to move it over. And look, sometimes you're not going to hit it exactly. But for instance, if you came back to the same level where you had already gotten one sell, and then you saw that you sold off from it again, you would want to have that whole area marked up, right? And you can see we came back to it again, this time making an order block and falling very hard. And we already had that daily level mark there. So we had a bunch of 15 stuff going on at a daily level, which will give you much more of a bearish pressure if you get that reaction from there. And you can see that you would have, whether you got in at the tippy top or here, right? This 8 pip difference. If you're arguing over 8 pips, there's something wrong. You would have had a nice 90 pip trade, right? To come down to a 4-hour level that we had marked. And you could even argue, you had this past price action where you would have had a 15-minute there. You came to it, you got, you fixed it, made it right, whatever you want to see. So hopefully that helped you to kind of understand how I like to use these, what I call sell and buy levels based off of candle opens, right? So we already messed with our daily. We already showed you what would have been there. We can get rid of these 2 things that we was just messing with. Nothing much more to do there. We'll go to the 4-hour and show you how, right? There was that 4-hour level that was, you came back up to the top, right? There would have been your 4-hour level there. You had that liquidity hunt that got me out. On a daily point of view, that's also where, that was a blue line, wasn't it? That's where that 4-hour was. And you can see it was also a daily. So if anything, what I did wrong is I didn't have my stop loss high enough when I was looking to sell in this during this day. I should have had it above the high, right? And then I would have been fine. But you can see that you fell down to that 4-hour that we had marked up, and it had big reaction to the upside. And that's when you would have started hunting for something else, right? That's where we had our daily level. You can say you should have a 4-hour level here and a 4-hour level here, right? You can say there's also a 4 in the middle of those two, but since we have a daily and a 4, we can say that's just a range. You don't need that make your chart look too much. But what I was trying to get at is, since you already used that 4, move it over since you have a new 4-hour level. And that's what we came and targeted this morning, just 2 hours ago, right? Which means you can now move that over once again, make it a 1-hour level. And if you were able to get into a sell, that would be an area you can target, right? So me, I would be looking for, you can throw a trend line in here if that's your forte, right? If you like trend lines, you could throw your trend line in right around here. And I would set an alert for, I'll do right below this wick. At that area is when I'd want to be attentive to what's happening on the price action for a possible sell, right? So continued upward movement and a possible sell around this area, back down to that 1 and possibly daily. Simple what I'd be looking at there. Now, we are going to jump over to gold real quick because, I think you'll like what you see. And we had talked about it earlier for you guys who were here early on, and we will get back over it again. So we had taken a sell from our weekly and daily level. The team had it, and now we're starting to have our carry through. You can call it whatever you want, our continuation, really whatever you want to call it, whatever floats your boat. But that's what we're seeing. And then we had determined that there was a 38 level that we'd like to look out for. So we will see what happens here, and I will give you guys a brief analysis again of what me and Awais are expecting. Oh, is that a no wick candle? Oh, there is a no wick candle there on 15. 15, it should get filled at some point, but for right now, since you will see more movement on a 15 than you will in a 1 or a 4 hour. If it was a 4 hour no wick that just printed right there, I wouldn't be worried, but I'd look to target it somewhat soon. You still can. But on a daily point of view, what I'm looking for is a nice 38% tap in line with a daily level that I believe should get taken out before we go higher. On a 4 hour point of view, right, we had the daily level, which, like as y'all saw on the previous GN, I don't always mark up everything. For instance, there is a 4 hour right here that got taken out, but we already had a daily level at just about the same movement. So instead of making your chart look like your daughter just drew all over it, just know that, okay, there's a 4 mixed with a daily, mixed with a weekly. So it should be a powerful area, right? We also, I believe we had a Z level there, right? We had our Z level right there. If you know, if you don't, then you need to join the FFM so you can get access to our Z strategy videos, right? That's purely for the members. If you're a member, you get them. If you're not, you don't. Simple, right? Link is in the description to join, and it's something that comes in handy a lot in times like this with consolidation. So as I said, we had that daily level there. We already went over and updated everything with, our weekly. We have a weekly down here, which is a no wick. It's actually not a no wick. I lied. I thought it was, but we have a gap there. So long term, we could be targeting that in mixed with this trend line, right? Going back to 4 hour, I see a couple things I should mark up. For instance, from this bearish movement, we have a new 4 hour level we can look to target. Open, high, low, right? Not a no wick. It might look like it, but it is not. In terms of 4 hour, like, look, you would have a 4 hour level here at 43, which is also that 1950 key level, give or take $2 if you implement that $10 rule. So if the key level is 1950, $10, which would be 5 on each side, puts you at 45 and 55, right? For instance, just for show, right? You have that bearish movement. You start to go bullish. You have that 4 hour level that you came back to. You closed above it on the body. So on 1530, you should have been able to get a good entry. If not, worst case scenario, you would have bought the open with the stop below the prior low, wide stop, but you look to target, whether you want to target this big bearish candle or whether you look to target, a prior weekly, or whether you pull a fib out, right? Whatever you may target, 38, 61, right? Whatever it is that floats your boat, right? You don't have to trade exactly like us, but there's a reason that you would have wanted to get into a buy right there. Multiple reasons, multiple confluences, right? Moving over, you have a 4 hour here, which was what we came to, just this morning, last night. So yeah, you can start to see that in effect. I'm expecting lower. I don't want to say lower long term, but for now, I am expecting a nice 38% tap. Or, we could just tap back into that 50 key level, which would be 1945 to 1955. We have that 4 hour level that comes in line with that. And we have that daily level, which is little bit lower than it, but that's all right. 1 hour, all that stuff is the same. I'm really going to be looking for this hourly candle to close below the prior wick, so below 75, to show me some strength. We do have, for right now, the hour is a no wick candle. So ideally what we'd love to see is, one of two things. I don't want to say which one I'd rather see because it really doesn't matter to me, right? But if that does leave that no wick, you'll be able to mark it up and either look for it to come very soon, meaning the next one or two 1 hour candles, fill it. It's just where you could get a second entry, add up a higher lot if you want, or you would like to see, something like going, oh my gosh, what happened? Something like going down from here to our level, seeing proper price action to get out, leave a partial, leave break even, stop, maybe even a buy. And if you were to get in that buy, you'd look to target that 1 hour no wick candle, right? It's really as simple as it is for me. The harder you make things in your analysis, the harder it's going to be to catch an entry or to, have the confidence in your entry. So going over here to GJ. Yeah, like I said, we might as well just, do everything fresh for you guys, all that are on here. I had a trend line that looked like this, which we had bounced off of to end the week. But to begin this week, we are gapping above it, filling the gap and looking like we want to continue higher. I will leave that in there for now, but I don't rely that heavily on trend lines. Going into our levels, and starting at the bottom, just to show y'all, like I said, I don't always like these in there. It gets your chart messy. There's where you have a weekly. Here's where you have a weekly. You have a weekly that is right here. That is also a no wick. Now, normally I wouldn't have that since you came back close enough to it, but since it's a no wick, I do want that in there, since the way I trade no wicks, that you need to fill that. Whether it be now or whether it be in 3 months, you will fill it. And most likely when you fill it, you will get either a straight break through it, or you will see some kind of stutter in the price action to where you'd be able to get a possible 30 to 50 pip buy, or you'll have the price action saying, oh, we're going to break this. Let's sell it for another quick 30 to 50 pips. Now, last week we had that nice bullish candle, so you had to have another level right there. Going on to the sell levels, we'd have a sell level up here, right? We would have a sell level right here. And that's really it, right? Initially, we had one that was here, which we came and we got active on it, right? And stole it down towards that prior weekly level. You don't have one right here, not anymore, because if you would have had it, you would have used it and been able to sell. This isn't this is the same thing. You used it, sold this. I don't put one there because you don't have a big enough weekly level to the downside, right? You have to have a big move for me to put one in. Didn't have one. That's that. Take a look at it in terms of fib. Look where 6-1 is. That's what we bounced off of. So if we want to go higher, it's time to go higher. It's really just a matter of seeing what price wants to do. Now, at this weekly level, do we have any kind of past price action that looks anything like it, right? I'm making the box from this wick to this wick right here. You can pull it over and you can see you do have a lot of price action rejections or straight breakthrough in the past. So that's a good level for us to target, right? A dual confirmation there. So if we do go higher, if we have a reason to get in a buy, that's what we'd be looking for. Now, can we find some reasons to go in a buy? Let's find out. So as you can see, we had minor consolidation right here. Then you had a big burst up. So that's a place I would like to have a buy level at, right? You can also, some people say, well, you have an order block there. I'm aware, right? You have the moving averages intertwined right there. So a pullback to that level, we could possibly look for a buy, pull out fib. Just obviously a fib might change, But, depending on where bodies close, 38, 50% in that general area, another reason to look for it. Now, if we can get a nice daily close above this trend line, because for now we don't have one, right? What I would be looking for is, with the close above it, I'd be looking, close above, I'd be looking for a pullback towards that daily, and where you would have a daily level, right? And the trend line and a buy to there, right? So what I mean by where the daily level would be, if you have that bullish candle that we want, you'd be able to put a daily there. You'd look for something along those lines. Now we have to keep in our minds that I'm not a big fan of trend lines because they can be deceiving at times, but sometimes they work perfect, right? I like things that are more, 60, 70% win rate. Now, on the opposite side, if this candle decides that, we don't care, we want to continue down because we didn't break this high, which didn't break these highs, which didn't even hit this daily level, right? If you had a daily level right there, didn't even hit it, right? That'd be jumping back a little bit to the buy side. That would be an area that I would want to target for a TP on if we had buys, right? Because there is a daily level right there that hasn't been hit. And in addition to that, we have a wick that is close to it, meaning we know that people that are selling or people that sold and are swinging it, right? Their stops are right above it. There's liquidity there. Simple stuff, right? While we're on that, we can also say that we have a daily level here. I know I'm jumping around places, right? I'm not a professional live streamer, right? I'm a professional trader. And if that means my mind jumps around, my mind jumps around. Take it or leave it. Now, as I was saying about the sell, if today's daily candle decides to close bearish and back below, right, we can look for price action that would end up tomorrow breaking that level, getting a nice little retest and a sell down to this level. For me right now, it is undetermined what will happen because of the messy price action on daily, right? Now, when we go down to 4 hour and 1 hour, we might see something that gives it away for us. But on the daily point of view, that's what I would be looking for. And those are the areas that I would like to take things. What's going on, KG? Going down to 4 hour, what do we see? We see that we had... we didn't attack that 4 hour level yet. Something that like you really could have it marked up. You don't have to, right? It's just going to make your chart more messy. From this prior low right here to the high, do we have maybe a 38, a good 38, which gives you reason to buy, which if you're looking at just price action in itself and the trend of things, you probably would have been wanting to buy, right? Just a quick little recap on that. In terms of a 4 hour level that's current, right? This one, for instance, right here, you came back to it and fell, and you have one right here. So I'm gonna mark that area up. If you want it as a zone, right? Since you have two that are close, the zone would look something like this, right? And you can look to possibly take a sell from there. We'll see what happens. You would have a 4 hour buy area right there. And that's pretty much it for me for what I would put. Why the fuck was that in there? Oh, that was where I was mentioning the daily level that could happen. Going to 1 hour. We can see we have a Z level right in that same area that we possibly be looking to sell, which I forgot to mark up, but it was a 4 hour area. As I said, if you're interested more in that Z level, you got to become a member and get access to our Z level strategy videos. It's Mr. Oasis Strategy. He's our UK mentor. I'm obviously in the United States, if you can't tell by how fast I talk and my accent. That's on you. Going over to GA. And you can see same things we have marked up: weekly level, weekly level, weekly level. We have some alerts that really need to just go bye-bye because they weren't used and they're just taking up space. Have a weekly level here. As I say, I don't always mark them up because aside from showing FFM, I don't need them. There's no reason to say we're going to go from here all the way down to here in one move. So I don't have them all marked up. I normally have the two recent one, right? The two most recent. Here would be one and here would be one, right? Obviously, there's one here. Oh, shit. Obviously, there's one here. And obviously, there's one here. You could have them marked up if you want until you get more used to it. Who cares, right? Yeah, so this is an order block top, just something I wanted to be aware of, breaking into it. I'm just going to go straight down to the daily, weekly, not much more to do. But we can see, depending on how today's day closes, right, that if we do stay below this wick area, that we could look for a break and retest sell, right? Break, retest, we could look for a sell from that level. We'll get to that 4 hour here in a minute. Right now, like this might change, but right now there's a daily level right here, which could come in handy as well if we don't want that nice break and retest. That's all I see there. You know, we could look for, see where 38 and 61 is. 38 in an area that you had some resistance and then made support. So you could have a zone there if that's your thing, right? I'm not going to make the zone and make my chart look like a coloring book. I'm just going to be aware of where 38 is, right? Going down to 4 hour, we see that we had a 4 hour level marked, which was used once and then twice. This is where I had got in on that sell, or that was on GN, but I also had a potential sell from this same level, which I didn't take because generally I do not like to be in two of the same pairs, right? I know they're not the same, but GA and GN for the most part will move very similar. So if I take a loss on one, I'm in a loss on both, which would require me to split my lot size further, right? So say I want to use half a lot on the trade, but I want GN and GA, I'd have to use 0.25% of my whatever lot I want to use on each. I'd rather just go on one, whichever one I feel more confident. But yeah, that's that 4 hour that we was telling you guys about how we like to use it. You have a new one there. Obviously, you have a new one here as well, right? And if you can't tell, I don't just put them anywhere, right? I'm not going to put one here. I would put one here, if anything, because you had minor consolidation and then you had a big push down. So that's where I would have one. But I don't, right? I don't. If you want me to put it there to make you happy, I will. Right. Most likely we'll have 38% right around there, which is, you know, nice in itself, right? High to our low, 38 right around it, 61 at the others. So, you know, two main areas that I'd be looking at for a sell would be that 38 and that break and retest. Oh, shoot. I really hate when that happens. And you think you double click it, but you didn't. Or that 61 level area. Now, as I say, this is an order block top. It's a weekly, right? No, sorry. Yeah, weekly order block top. So the reason why I wouldn't really be keen to getting in on a buy here is you really need daily price action. So if we fuck around here and daily closes above it, maybe, right? Maybe we can get in on it. But for the most part, I'd be fine with missing the buy if that meant I get to catch a sell that will be more probable, more probability, and follows our strategy more, right? But we can look for it, right? If we're on this 1 hour, 4 hour level, 4 hour chart, and we use, right? Obviously, you could say, oh, I want to use a fib from all the way down low. But if we look at the prior consolidation and low to the high, do we have anything? We have 50%. So that gives us possible reason. In terms of a 4 hour level, you have a zone, which is, I'll just mark it up as a zone. I'm not tired of putting lines, but like, I don't want one there, right? But you have a zone there where you could look for a possible buy. So if we have enough price action from there, we could look for a buy towards either of those levels, right? Either the break and retest or the 61, you know, and it's really up to you what you'd like. If I was trying to get in on a buy from this level, what I would really prefer to do and what I would be doing is I'd be down on something like 15 or 30, right? 15. And what I would do is I would look for a break of all these wicks. I'd look for one big bullish candle of those wicks. And then you have two options. Either you go instantly on the next 15 open and you buy with a stop below this wick, or you wait for some hopeful pullback towards the highest body, which for now is right here. You would get in on your buy there, right? So it'd be with the momentum. It'd be a little bit, I won't say a little bit risky, but your stop would be at the bottom. So it'd be nice, tight stop, and you'd look to target here, right? Just for how I would like to get in on the buy with how current price action looks. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball. If I did, then I'd be selling signals for $1,000 a day because everything would hit, right? I don't have that. I wish I did, but I don't. So now I'm going to go to my least traded pair, which is EU. I don't do a lot of work on EU, right? My strategy still works there, but I don't trade EU often, but I have it in here mostly because we have a lot of the Forex funded family members that love EU and they like my input. So here we are. One reason I don't like it is my strategy works on it, but it's not as clean and cut, right? GBP pairs, it works pretty well. For the most part, you would have like one big swing. You can come back to it with the sell or buy level. Here you have just so many different levels and you don't really come back to them in a timely manner. And when I'm trading EU, it's much more of a scout, much more of a 15 to a daily trade, right? Whereas some of those, any of the pairs that we went over prior to this, I have no problem holding with all week, right? But for old time's sake, we can show you that we have a weekly level right here, which we've been still rejecting for 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now, depending on this. But the thing I don't really like is you have a second rejection and you have a higher body. So it's kind of telling me, yeah, we might want to target higher, right? Fine. Just gives you a little bit of a bias, right? We have a daily level here. We had a daily level here since you had big bearish candle, right? And you came to it, sold off, came to it again, sold off, right? There's our new daily would be. Same weekly, daily, also a daily. I don't know if I mentioned it already. So yeah, if anything, possible sells, right? But at the same time, we got to be aware of those highs right there. Because if we break those highs, you're going to have more probability. Right, if you go up and you break those highs, it's where I'd really be looking for a break and a retest and a buy, right? I wouldn't really be looking in this current price action for let me hunt the liquidity, but then still fall, right? I don't like that in that current point of view, right? But if we can test that area, that daily level nicely, I would look to take it down towards there. There would be a profit taking level right there at the daily open. Right, I don't have it marked. Yeah, that's that. So hopefully, some of that analysis helped you guys. I see we got a decent amount of viewers in here. I know I haven't been going live as much as I used to, but I would love some support. If you guys can drop a like, that'd be perfect. If you enjoyed what you're seeing so far, share it with your friends, help them out. I mean, it's free, right? But yeah, now what I basically do in my day is I just, for instance, monitor gold, which ended up pulling back towards that hourly wick. Which, as I believe, yeah, it didn't now on this hourly, we don't have a no wick, which I like better because it gives me more confidence in the short. The one thing I don't like the most is the fact that we have 42 seconds left. The chances of us closing below that prior hour open is slim, but I'm already in the trade, right? I like the no wick because it tells me if we start moving down, we have no reason to come back quick, right? Those no wicks, they can be filled quick, right? For instance, we had a no wick 20 minutes ago. Now we don't, right? Market didn't even want to leave one, right? There's probably a no wick right here, right? Open high, right? No wick here. You fell down big. You stuttered. You came back and filled that no wick and then fell further. That is essentially what I did not want here because it could have hunted my stop. I could have been out of the market for the day, and then it could have came and did its big move, which we talked about already. It could have came and did its big move and fucked me up. We just had some news right here, didn't we? Yeah. Well, that's that. For instance, I said I was looking to possibly sell at this level, right? You don't have price action telling me to sell from that level. Not with that hourly close. You break straight through it. So that's where I would say, all right, you know what? Try to take it higher, which means now that you've broken above it, you can mark an alert for it and look for a possible, right? And that will be better for the gold sell that we're in. Right. And as I mentioned to the Forex funded family, I said on US30, I said, we'll look for no wick clear and sells. If no price action to sell, we'll expect further upside where I will be watching 5 to 30 minute for buys to the next sell level, 33.7. That's what we got. No price action, probably even on the 15. You probably just had a fat 15 above it, which is somewhere where you had, if you wanted, like, this is one thing I also teach the FF family is trading in the momentum, right? You have a big bullish candle like that and no reason, and you had a level that you was looking at near above it, you would have been able to buy that open, stop below the low and target your level, right? Target your level. The risk to reward should be there, 1.86, not the best. But yeah, and me personally probably wouldn't have got in with that just because of the fact that I like more wickage. You know what I mean? We didn't have a lot of that. I like more wicks. Yeah, if you guys on YouTube have any questions for us, just drop them in the chat. I'd be happy to help you guys with them. If not, we will see you guys next time we are live, which, could be tomorrow, could be Wednesday, could be Friday. I don't know. All right. If you want to live almost every single day, keyword almost, you got to join the FFM, the best Forex family on the planet. All right. You came to that daily level I was looking at clearing, right? We have a gap there too. So, what we could be looking for here is follow down back to that gap, maybe a little bit of a pullback in that sell, right? That pullback is where I would look to enter. We'll see what ends up happening. We could just go further to the upside. I don't know. Not looking like we have any questions. So I think that's where I'm going to leave you guys on the YouTube. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this live. I hope you guys tune in for more. And, it'd be wonderful to see some of you guys, whether it's following our Instagram, Forex Funded, link in the description, or whether it's, taking action and getting to be the next and newest Forex Funded family member. We'd love to see you guys on the team. We'd love to help take you guys from whatever skill level you have now to the skill level needed to be a consistently profitable trader. That's what we're here for, is helping you guys. So with that being said, YouTube, it was great to have you guys here today. Hope you guys have a wonderful week in the market, and we hope to see some of you new faces soon.